Association for Baha'i Studies is a membership organization that tries to create an environment for Baha'is who are studying the Baha'i revelation to correlate the teachings of the faith with the contemporary thought and issues in the society. We do this through the means of holding annual conferences where friends in the academia or those who are interested to study the faith come together and share the result of the learning and research.
The association is probably best known for its annual conference. This is the 39th conference this year. It also has a journal, the Journal of Baha'i Studies, which started many years ago and is now back to publishing 3 issues a year. We've also, in the last few years, started webinars several times a year.
We try to create an environment for people of various interests and academic backgrounds and disciplines and fields to come and have an ability to connect with others who are in that field. For instance, we have groups in health sciences, in engineering, in IT, in law, in education, in arts, in sociology, economics, to come together and find the common grounds and share their areas of interest with each other.
I decided to come because it seems like it's a really interesting point where the Baha'i faith meets academic discourse and academic scholarship. In that just recently, within the last 2 years, there's been a letter from the House of Justice trying to develop and understand deeper how Baha'is can engage social discourse and also recognize the social spaces in which one sits in order to engage that social discourse.
For instance, in this conference, we had about half a dozen plenary presentations, 3 panels with 4 panelists each, 60 breakout sessions, and learn with each other towards an attempt to figuring out how to get engaged in the public discourse in their own field.
There are just so many wonderful insights to be gained by different speakers and different aspects of the Baha'i faith that you don't even know kind of meld into the rest of society.
The forum that we had just before, it was about the disparity between rich and poor and what is in the Baha'i writing, that how can we close the gap.
One of the talks that resonated with me was, amongst many, was the talk on sustainable well-being. I think it's really important that we understand the spiritual elements of individual and collective health. And as a Baha'i and a fairly new Baha'i, I think it's also important to understand what the diseases in society are and to be able to talk about it.
The last workshop I attended was about educational pedagogy and the Baha'i principles. So, as a teacher myself, the topic was explored with other educators. How can we include Baha'i principles in our practice?
They don't see each other. They don't see each other.
So I just came out of a session that was on oppression to empowerment, and it was a 4-person panel, and it was fantastic. Understanding of how to embrace and welcome the generality of all mankind is still something that will require lots of work. And I believe that what was being explored in that panel was something that kind of opens the door to some concrete lines of action people can start considering.
The link between studies and the expression through the arts is the deeper you study the writings, naturally you're going to find different expressions through the art, being an artist or a musician. And so it's really incumbent upon all of us Baha'is to deepen our knowledge on the writings, deepen our knowledge on the faith, so that newer forms of expression can thus come out of us and be exposed.
It's a way of both deepening your understanding of the Baha'i faith and the Baha'i teachings and understanding better what's going on in the world, I think, with a Baha'i perspective. It just enriches your life and hopefully creates avenues of service.
And develop methodologies so we can reconcile the divide that currently exists between revelation and the secular world. So we can find ways where we can remove this dichotomy and find helpful, constructive ways where we can relate the revelation to the secular way of gaining knowledge.
Where now we have people that are interested not only in just studying the Baha'i faith, but also using Baha'i frameworks and studying the reality of the world, also being here to share their perspective and pushing all of studies that are deriving some sense of framework from Baha'i faith, being here. That would be a great goal, to start seeing that those lines of separation start disappearing, that we're studying reality, period.